Hi guys. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about Zabu and his place in the game right now. So they did a recent balance change. So they took Absorbing Man and turned him into a 4/5. And they took Captain Marvel and turned her from a 5 power card down to a 4 power card. And as noted, this is very, very good for Zabu. And he's one of those cards that, I cannot believe that he gave a cost reduction of 2 energy to 4 energy cards when he was first released, and then they have to nerf it down to 1. But he's still it's such a powerful effect being able to cost reduce all cards of a certain energy cost, especially one that's 4, which is very significant because it means you can play 2 4-cost cards on turn 6. It's such a strong effect that they're pretty much always forever for the rest of the game going to have to balance their card design around Zabu. Because just the fact that Zabu exists and that he is in the game means that there are certain cards that you can print and certain cards you can't print, especially in this 4 energy slot, because, he can so easily break the game. Now, in my review of the upcoming September season pass cards and the cards are going to be released, go check out that video. I'm talking about Loki and Ravonna Renslayer and Alioth and all of that. And I talk a bit about this when I talk about Mobius, that cost reduction is one of the most dangerous things you can do when it comes to the overall balance of the game. If you mess too much with cost reduction, that's how you break the game. We've seen this, for example, in other card games like Hearthstone, where the cost reduction has become such a rampant thing over the years that now you have decks that can they have 30 card decks instead of 12 card decks like in Marvel Snap, but you have certain decks and archetypes that have been able to draw through and play pretty much their entire deck by turn 5, because you can just make everything in your deck cost nothing. And all balance just goes out the window. The whole idea of balance is sort of set by the idea that a certain energy will relay a certain amount of power. If a card has this power level, then it costs this much energy. If a card has this much of a power level, it costs this much energy. But if you can suddenly start to play really, really high cost cards very cheaply, then you sort of break the game. And the way that this has been handled previously in Marvel Snap earlier, to make sure that the game doesn't get broken, is that they make these cost-reducing decks inconsistent. We have things like Mr. Negative. You can see the crazy, crazy busted stuff you can do in a Mr. Negative deck when the stars align and you have your perfect draws and you have your perfect place and you don't have any locations that mess with you. When you pull it off, you win, but it's inconsistent. You can't pull it off consistently. Same thing goes for example, Lockjaw decks. It's the same exact thing. You can you can cheat. You can cheat and you can play cards way too early that you're not supposed to be able to play, but it's pretty inconsistent, and that's what balances it. Now, the problem arises when these cost-reducing effects become too consistent, when you can just pull them off regularly. We've seen it, for example, with Serra Control, which has just always hovered up in the top sort of decks for as long as that archetype has existed, because you can very consistently cost reduce the entire deck and pull off these huge turn 6 plays where you just empty your entire hand. And now we are getting to that point with Zabu as well. Zabu is becoming too consistent. He is too good at cost-reducing things, and there are too many good targets and good cards for him to cost-reduce now. So if you look at the meta snapshots of the most played cards in the game right now, according to Marvel Snap Zone, the 3 most played cards in the game are Shang-Chi, Killmonger, and Zabu. Now, Shang-Chi and Killmonger, they're just great for disrupting your opponent's strategy. They kill enemy cards, they destroy 1-cost cards, they destroy huge big power cards. But then you have Zabu, who is not meant to disrupt your opponent's game plan, it's meant to bolster your game plan, and it's still up there in the top 3 most played cards, because Zabu is becoming too good. Now, here is my crazy crackpot conspiracy theory, which isn't a conspiracy theory at all. This is intentional. They are currently intentionally making Zabu too good and making cost reduction too good because in September they're gonna release Mobius M. Mobius, which is gonna solve the problem. And I've talked about how much I love this card, and I've talked about how great it is for the, or like how imperative it is for the long-term health of the game that a card like Mobius exists. A card like this should exist in the game, because once this card is released, cost reduction is never going to be able to break the game. It just cannot happen while this card exists. And that's going to open up design space. They're going to have to be way less spooked about printing cost reduction cards so long as Mobius is in the game. Because if cost reduction becomes too good, then people are just going to put Mobius in their decks and then the meta is going to solve itself. But we're not there yet. Mobius is still like a month and a half away. And what's going to happen is that they want people to buy Mobius. So we're in for like 6 weeks of cost reduction being way too good and Zabu being just a little bit broken. So we're gonna see that like settle in this meta over the next month or so. Like, yeah, we have this Destroy season, yeah, we have Daken and X23 and all of that jazz, but I think it's still gonna be cost reduction. It's gonna be Zabu, and Zabu decks are going to dominate for the next 6 weeks. So if you want to climb, like, do it right now with Zabu, because Zabu decks are gonna be like your best bet, because Zabu is too good right now. And he's gonna be until Mobius gets printed, and they want people to have a reason to buy Mobius when he comes out. And he is gonna solve the meta, just like I predicted he would. He is going to solve the meta, and it's great that they make him. But they are intentionally trying to create a situation where people are gonna like feel forced to buy him in order to stay competitive. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Zabu is currently the best card in the game. He's currently too good. Cost reduction is too good right now. This is by design. So they're gonna keep it this way for 6 weeks or so. And then Mobius is gonna come and solve the problem. So that's my crackpot conspiracy theory meta-analysis. You can take this information, hopefully use it in your deck building, and use Zabu now for the next 6 weeks or so while he's broken, and go do that infinite climb in an easier way than you've done before. And since they are not like, it appears like they're not doing like series drops anymore, so Zabu is probably gonna stay in series 4, it's not gonna drop down to 3. If you have him in the store and you have your 3,000 tokens, I do recommend getting him because he is going to dominate the meta for the next 6 weeks. So that's my analysis, that's the video. Thank you for watching, people, and I will see you again some other time for something completely different.